Alrighty, I'm going to get us started here. So everyone, welcome to our Celebrating Earth Day webinar with the Green Sports Alliance. Throughout this webinar, we invite you to raise your hand if you have any questions. You can also submit them through the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And that's when we'll do Q&A at the end of the session. But if any questions come throughout, we'll probably pause and have that discussion. Just so you know, this recording will be made accessible to you after the webinar. You can also access all of our other webinar recordings on our website at www.greensportsalliance.org. So let's jump in. Today, we are going to be talking about the Earth and how you can get involved. So many of you have probably heard of Earth Day, but just in case you haven't, every April 22nd, individuals from all backgrounds and walks of life unite in a global effort to advance sustainability and climate action, marking the annual observation of Green Sports Day. I mean, not Green Sports Day, of Earth Day. Katie, can you see my screen? Because it's not showing, but you can see it. Okay, beautiful. So in a moment, I'm going to pop in the chat a link. So if everyone can just click that link, or you can scan the QR code that's on the screen and tell us what city you are tuning in from. Kansas City, Foxborough, San Diego, Minneapolis, Las Vegas, Cleveland. Katie, where are you tuning in from?
I was the San Diego on there.
Nice. I'm in Asheville. Oh, Oxford, UK.
Nice.
Some international presence. Nice.
I don't think it's too late. Maybe 5 p.m. for them.
Yeah. Thank you for joining. Awesome. Well, today, Katie and I are really excited to be hosting this webinar with you all. If you don't know me, my name is Shay. I'm the Marketing, Communications, and Events Manager at the Green Sports Alliance. My first memory of Earth Day is coming home from school in the 3rd grade, grabbing a plastic bag from under my kitchen sink, and going out for a walk to pick up litter. And that's what I thought Earth Day was for several years. But my true connection with the planet evolved as I grew as a trail runner, exploring the mountains and trails across the East Coast. And in that process of learning to love the earth, finding harmony with it, and learning how to take action for the ecosystems that exist here, which ultimately led me professionally to working with the Green Sports Alliance, which I'm really proud to work with Katie, Bradley, Matt, Michael, Lauren, and Roger, and our amazing board members, where we work at the intersection of sport and sustainability. So Katie, I'll pass it over to you. Why did you get into the business of the planet?
Yeah, thanks, Shay. A few years ago, I went back to school and got my sports MBA from San Diego State. Shout out San Diego State. But in the meantime, I realized I was really, getting into like super corporate America. And right before school started, I had watched Life in Color with David Attenborough. If you guys know him, I'm sure many of you do. So I kind of had this idea the whole time while I was in school of the planet. And eventually I was like, I don't really want to work in corporate America. So I typed in sustainability and sports. And of course, the Green Sports Alliance was the first thing that popped up. And kind of the rest is history. If you guys know me, then you kind of know that story. But went from intern with Shay a long time ago, worked some events with them. Was a contractor for 9 months and was finally brought on full-time as the Associate Manager of Operations, Member Services, Events, and Communications at the Green Sports Alliance. And I'll pass it back to Shay.
Awesome. Katie, do you want to share your screen? I think we have a video to share.
Yes. So I was just talking about David Attenborough. We're going to give you kind of some background on the planet, and we hope you guys enjoy it.
As societies develop, something is happening that has never happened before. People are having fewer children. Globally, since the year 2000, the number of people under 16 years old has hardly changed. The main reason our population is still rising is because people are living longer. If this continues, our population may finally stop growing by the turn of the century. By investing in education and women's rights and raising people out of poverty, we could bring about peak human even sooner. This changes everything. It gives us the opportunity we need to regain our balance. The plan for our planet is remarkably simple. Reduce our impact by making sure that everything we do, we can do forever. For the biggest gains, we could concentrate our efforts on 4 goals: phasing out fossil fuels and replacing them with renewables. This will not only slow the warming of the planet and the acidification of the ocean, but it will lead to clean air for all of us. Upgrading to efficient food production and reducing our consumption of meat. We'll require far less space to provide for ourselves, leaving more for grasslands, reducing deforestation and our demand for fresh water, and feeding more people with healthier, more affordable food. Working together to properly manage our ocean. A global network of no-fish zones and a treaty on the use of international waters would restore the health of the ocean so it actually produces more fish for us all to eat. Working hard to keep hold of the wild populations we still have, encouraging nature wherever we can. In the ocean, on land we no longer need, and even in our cities. If we make these changes, we'll be a long way to becoming a species in balance with nature once again. We will have taken a remarkable journey from 1 million people struggling to survive to several billion living long, healthy lives on a stable planet, able to provide for all our needs. Only at that point will the Anthropocene, the age of humans, be truly underway. At that point, we will be proud to call it our planet. How do we create a future in which both people and nature can thrive? We open our eyes to this moment in history. Think on a planetary scale. Embrace the challenge we face. And do something we humans are very good at. Change the world.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that. I love that, man. If you don't know David Attenborough, Blue Planet, Our Planet, he has so many documentaries on all of the platforms, I believe now. But he's definitely a good watch. So check it out. Oopsie. Let's go. There we go. So now we are going to test your climate knowledge, and I'll pass it back to Shay. There's going to be, here we go, some polls and quizzes that are going to pop up. I can read them out loud for you. I thought these were very interesting as I was choosing them. These are brought to you by earthday.org. If you go to their website, there's a ton of information. There's tests, there's just a whole bunch of knowledge if you want to dive into the planet. But so which state has implemented climate education standards across all subject areas? New Jersey, Maine, Texas, or Idaho? You can go ahead and choose now. Which state has had the most climate-related damage? California, New York, Florida, or Louisiana? What % of its plastic does the US recycle? 1%, 5%, 50%, or 65%? And last but not least, which land-based ecosystem has the most biodiversity? Tundra, grasslands, tropical rainforest, or desert?
Katie, we have 71% of folks participating, so we'll give just a second for people to continue to fill it out here.
Awesome.
Katie, can you see what answers are coming through?
I cannot. I am not allowed to vote as a panelist.
Okay. So for our answers for the first question, 31% of you have said New Jersey, 62% have said Maine. For question number 2, 62% voting for California, 29% for Florida, and 14% for Louisiana. Number 3, what percent of its plastic does the US recycle? 29% saying 1%, but 57% of you saying 5% gets recycled. And 100% of you voted that the tropical rainforest has the most biodiversity. So I'm going to end this poll. We got 100% of you participating. Katie, can you see the results here?
No, but I do know the answers.
There we go. I think
There we go.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, so for number 1, the majority of you were correct. The answer is New Jersey. Number 2, most of you answered Maine. I forget. Do you remember that question, Shay?
Backwards.
They're backwards?
Well, I have it up if you guys need it.
Okay. I see it. Yeah, so I'm sorry. Number 1, most of you answered Maine. The correct answer is actually New Jersey. For number 2, most of you answered California. The correct answer is Florida. Number 3, good job. Most of you answered 5%. The correct answer is 5%. And everyone got 100% A+ on number 4. The correct answer is tropical rainforest.
Katie, I would join your game show if you were a host. No.
Thank you. I've been getting better at my webinar voice. All right, I'm gonna go back to screen share. All right, so I hope you guys can tell so far, but we are making this not a doomsdayer webinar, but more to uplift everyone as we talk about Earth Day. You know, we are in the business of climate, and our goals are to help the planet pretty much. So these are some really fun facts coming to you from the World Wildlife Federation. So a few things are: low-cost solar, wind, and battery technologies are profitable, exponential trajectories that, if sustained, we will have enough to halve emissions from electricity generation by 2030. Wind and solar energy now regularly outcompete fossil fuels in most regions of the world. That's amazing. Electric vehicle growth has the potential to reach 90% market share by 2030 if sustained. So we're working hard on it, but only if strong policies support this direction. I have lived in California my whole life, and I have had to abide by many of these what we may consider crazy laws that have come into place. One of them being that we have to have, as a residential building, commercial building, you have to have EV charging station. At least 10% of your parking structure must be EV. So, you know, we're going in that direction. And lastly, nearly half of the largest companies in the US now recognize that it is everyone's responsibility to tackle climate change and preserve our planet for future generations. Hence our tagline, playing for the next generation. You know, we do it for the kids. So next we're going to talk about some examples in relation to sports. We've talked a lot about the earth, you know, but we are here to help support you in actions that you can take come this month. So these are some examples in the past. We're going to start with the MLB. Shout out to the Oakland A's. They've done some great work in the last couple of years for Earth Day. As you can see, all of you can read this, but some highlights are they had a farm during Earth Month. They connected with their their biggest partners, Aramark and ASM Global, to have a composting and recycling program. A lot of you may know in California as well, we have this law called SB 1383. This is a law that all commercial and residential buildings have to have a green bin. So in the last few years, everyone has had to figure out how to compost, and the A's included in Oakland. Like I just said, they have to have EV charging station now, EV charging stations. They had a green expo. So a lot of this had to do with the e-waste donations. They connected with the Goodwill in San Francisco. If you don't know what Goodwill is, it's a donation place that you can go and just drop off all of your stuff, and they separate it for you. And then they also did Trees for Oakland at the 66th entrance, which is just an entrance to the ballpark. That was when the Trees for Oakland is when every single time someone breaks a bat, they plant a tree. A lot of the MLB teams did that for Earth Day. So shout out MLB. And the next one will go with an NBA example. The Chicago Bulls do many great things for Earth Day. One of them being they connect with the public schools in Chicago. They recycled a bunch of basketballs and made them into plants for each of the kids. If you're an NBA fan, that would be a fantastic decoration in your own house. But these are just some examples that you can do for Earth Day. And we're going to ask you guys now, what examples or what are you guys thinking as sports teams for doing for Earth Day? We are curious and we would love to know.
Yeah. So for the sports teams, the leagues, the venues, students, universities, organizations, and companies that are all here today, we're officially 3 weeks away from Earth Day. Many people celebrate Earth Day all month. So it's a really lovely way for you to activate. Feel free to scan the QR code. I'm going to put a link in the chat here that you can use to submit what you're activating for Earth Day this year, or what ideas you might have based on what Katie just shared. Get outside. Hosting a webinar, that's fun. Presenting to a local middle school to bring the excitement of sports to Earth Day activities. Love activating the local community and youth. Planting a tree, maybe host a volunteer cleanup with the players on your team. Some more tree plantings. Awesome. We're really excited to see what activations come to life this year. For the members and even people that aren't here that are not members, we want to hear from you. If you have an activation that you're really excited about for Earth Day, feel free to send that to Katie and I. We'll put our contact information in the chat at the end of this webinar. And we'd love to amplify the great work you're doing. Our team, Bradley's here as well. We're always open to brainstorming. If you are interested in doing an activation, but you're not sure where to start, we are here to support you. Whether you're a member or not, we would love to hear what you have going on. Katie, I'm going to pass it back over to you to introduce our special guest today.
Yes, special guests. We did an NBA and an MLB example, but now we're here with an NFL team / stadium. We're here with Gillette, with Jason Stone and Dina Champa, right? Okay, good.
Yes.
This is a QR code for Earth Day. This is an activation toolkit. So if you guys do need some help with ideas, this can definitely help get your activations off the ground. Just wanted to share that real quick, but I will let Dina take it away with what they're going to do for Earth Month Day, whatever.
Yes. Awesome. Great. Thanks, Katie and Green Sports Alliance for having us here today. So yeah, to kind of jump into our intent for Earth Day and month, but also just overall with sustainability projects, we really want to use our sports platform to facilitate sustainable change, whether that be through educating our fans, the thousands of people that come to the Revolution and Patriots games each year, but then also kind of extending that to the millions of people that watch all the events on TV. So taking the opportunity to educate fans about different sustainability projects and initiatives we have on, as well as being able to make the building itself more sustainable. And then kind of to tie into the video, some of the goals that they were talking about in the video tie in really well with a lot of the projects that we have going on at Gillette. So kind of to run down the list quickly, alternative energy, we have natural gas fuel cells on site and 2 cogeneration units. And then the stadium is also enrolled in a demand response program, and then RECs, so renewable energy credits as well. And then for the food revolution, we've been for years involved with a program called Grind to Energy, so grinding down the leftover food from events and putting it into a holding tank, and then it goes into an anaerobic digester. And then we're also looking into implementing food donation program in the next few months as well. And then in terms of managing the oceans, we are going to be partnering with 4Ocean, and then also looking into updating our purchasing policies to focus more on sustainable procurement. And finally, rewilding the world. We're partnering with One Tree Planted, which we've done for a couple years and are going to continue to do. More to come in the next slide about that as well. And then we're also looking into doing a green roof at the stadium. Jason, anything to add on this slide or?
No, that's great. Yeah.
Awesome. Go to the next slide, please. Awesome. So then to talk about action for Earth Day and Earth Month specifically, the closest home Revolution game that we have to Earth Day itself is going to be the 27th. The Revolution are playing Inter Miami at home on that Saturday night. So we have invited 4Ocean to come and activate, and then so we're going to have like a table set up, and then we'll be able to talk about different sustainability programs and initiatives that we have going on at Gillette. And then to kind of zoom out to Earth Month as a whole, the New England Revolution are planning on wearing warm-up tops made from recycled plastic during the MLS, the Major League Greener Goals, which actually has been extended not just to Earth Week, but even longer. So it's April 9th to the 22nd. So they'll be wearing those great tops for their warm-ups during that time. And then they will also be volunteering with the Urban Farming Institute of Boston on the 17th. So be sure to check out their socials. They'll be posting about that as well. And we're going to be continuing our partnership with One Tree Planted. We're actually going to be planting 30 trees in Chelsea, Mass on Saturday, April 20th. Great way to get involved with the community and give back to that neighborhood. And then to quickly touch on our social media campaign, we're going to be posting likely 2 posts during Earth Week, one with focusing on environmental statistics from 2023, and then a second one announcing the launch of our sustainability webpage. I'll turn it over to you, Jason.
Yeah, and then just touch on the initiative with One Tree Planted. We've been working with them for the last few years now, and in total we've planted over 24,000 trees from Maine down through Connecticut. And the goal there was a couple things. One, we wanted to help with the reforestation of areas hit by the logging community, and how that kind of connects to some of our businesses within the craft group is the craft family is in the paper business. So we bring in a lot of recycled goods. There is some forests that we own that we use for paper production. So we wanted to give back to the environment, help these communities, and bring some native vegetation back to areas that have just been devastated by that logging industry. So they've been great to work with. I encourage everyone to take advantage of it. It's low cost and high reward. And then as it relates to Chelsea, we picked that location for 2 reasons. First, the lack of tree canopy within that environment in that town, just brings up the heat load. So we took advantage of that opportunity to help, bring some tree cover to lower the heat load. And it's next to Everett, Massachusetts, where we are attempting to build a MLS stadium. So we want to really show the community what we could potentially bring to that area. Everett, Mass is a highly industrial area, just on the edge of Boston, north side of the city. And, there's old rundown power plants and other industrial buildings that, don't lend to the environmental standards that we need today. So as part of that initiative to build the MLS stadium in Everett, where we would build a highly efficient building, no fossil fuels, would be an all electric building, and adding in some renewable energy there. We're just doing our part to show that community what we're capable of doing, and it further enhances our sustainability efforts as a organization here. So can go to the next one.
Perfect. Awesome. And then, yeah, to talk about our overall impact with sustainability initiatives, our viewpoint at Gillette Stadium is to, treat every day like Earth Day, kind of a year-long commitment to continual improvement when it comes to sustainability. So this is kind of an overview of some of the sustainability projects and initiatives we have going on. We're very excited to say that we are officially LEED Gold certified. And we're also working on getting ISO 20121 Sustainable Event Management certified, which we should have by the end of the summer. So that's very exciting. And then in terms of data tracking, we've been using ARC and then also Measurable to get kind of that live utility tracking, that data in real time, which has been really helpful. And then over the past couple months, we've been working on kind of benchmarking our current status. So and last year in December, we did a stadium-wide waste audit during a Patriots game. So sorting and weighing all of the trash and recycle and kind of getting a baseline of our current diversion rate and using that as a launch point going forward of how we can improve over the next years. And we've also been able to take advantage of a variety of organizations. We work with a sustainability consulting company, but also different programs such as the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. They have a program through Recycling Works, and they offer like free technical support to any companies. So they were able to come on site and kind of come for a site tour, and then they're going to be providing some insight and recommendations for improvement. And then another big thing when it comes to sustainability is definitely transparency. So we've been working on an environmental impact report, kind of showcasing all of the initiatives that we have going on at the venue. And then, like I mentioned before, we are working on launching a webpage too, to kind of highlight some of the projects, and then continuing the social media posts as well. And then finally, to shift into energy, we have a lot of energy projects on site. Like mentioned before, fuel cells, cogen units, EV chargers. We have over 65 EV charging stations on property. And then the renewable energy credits, demand response, and then also looking into solar. I'll pass it back over to you, Jay.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and then future energy projects that we're looking at, continually greening up the property here. So our Revolution training facility that we have on the property here is an all electric building that we are now looking at adding solar to it, battery storage. And the best part of what we're doing internally here with Craft Sports and Entertainment is we're creating standards for our construction group within the craft group that oversees every big construction and capital improvements project that we do across the entire platform of craft businesses. We are now establishing the specs on what we require as the operators of the building from a green initiative. So it's, we have a lot of good things going on. And the best part about everything is we have the buy-in. We have the buy-in from the owners all the way down, even going through the ISO discussions with all the various departments in the building. They were excited to be part of the process and understand that the impact that these buildings have on the overall environment. And one group that we didn't talk about too much was 4Ocean. We brought them into the mix following our waste audit that we did. That was probably the most impactful exercise that I think I've done here at the stadium. where we actually saw how much waste we were actually producing. And then I took that and I actually went through and looked at all our purchasing for our food and beverage department and wanted to get an understanding of how much single-use plastic we're actually going through per event. And that's across every event that we hold here at Gillette Stadium. And I was floored by the amount of water bottles that we actually go through. I had an idea, but until I saw the granular details, I was just blown away. So getting 4Ocean involved, we're going to be more mindful about how we're going about buying single-use plastics, and we are going to be working with them on collection systems in different parts of the world. Our goal is to pull out a lot more plastic out of the ocean than we're actually using here at the stadium to offset, whatever our impact is. And they're doing great things. But one recommendation I would say is if you can do it, do a waste audit of your facility if you haven't already, and it will shed some light on what's being used, and more importantly, it will provide the intel to go to your executive team to show them what your actual impact is, and use that as some cause for change. So yeah, so a lot of good things happening here. I love this platform. I love the Green Sports Alliance. I think we can make a real difference in just seeing that opening video. It's pretty impactful, what the world is going through, and I think we can do our part through our various brands to protect it. So that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Yeah, David Attenborough gives me goosebumps all the time. But if you guys want to get connected with One Tree Planted or 4Ocean, those are also partners of ours. We can definitely send you over their emails. Shout out to them for doing great things for the planet. And then Dina, I want to thank you she used our tagline from the summit last year, which was intention, action, impact. So love that correlation there. I'm going to pass it back to Shay. She's going to talk a little bit about GSA and some upcoming events that we have.
Thanks, Katie. And thank you, Dina and Jason. It's always great to hear the amazing initiatives that you have going. So just thank you for joining us today. We got a really awesome amount of questions in the chat for you. So we'll jump into that in just a moment. But I'm going to just share my screen. We launched a new website a few weeks ago. I'm really excited about it. So if you didn't know that, feel free to head over to our website. I just wanted to share how you can access webinars, events, and all the fun stuff that the Green Sports Alliance has accessible to you. So this is our landing page. When you click events at the top here, it takes you to our events calendar. And I want to shout out an event that we have on April 10th, next Wednesday, led by Lauren Lichterman on our team. And we are joined by Jessica Murphy with the University of Cincinnati, Lauren Rickert with the Vanderbilt University, Jonathan Casper with the North Carolina State University, and Benjamin Mole as well with Pledge Ball. This is a session really focused on making the path from research to practice in sport and sustainability. So I'm going to pop this link in the chat here for everyone, and you can register to attend that next week. I also want to shout out our summit that's coming up. Our 2024 Green Sports Alliance Summit is going to be hosted at LA Live in Los Angeles, California from June 11th through June 13th. This is presented by our partners of 14 years, AEG. And now between April 13th, registration is 50% off. So not only are we entering our 14th year, we're going to be in LA for the first time. And we're really excited to return once again this year. Our summit looks a little bit different this year. We have a lot of workshops and breakouts coming to you. It's going to feel really hands-on. So there's a lot of information available at this link where you can find out how to register, how our programs develop mean, what sustainable venue tours you can go on, and what networking events you can attend. But you can also sign up to volunteer, access discounted hotel blocks and all those things at the link that I'm putting in the chat. And before I pass it over to Q&A, I just want to shout out the resources that we have available. Every webinar that the Green Sports Alliance hosts is recorded on YouTube and posted on our website as well. So if you missed something, you're looking to tune back from something in the past, it is accessible. Same thing with our playbooks and several case studies as well. One actually with Gillette. So yeah, check that out. I'm going to pop this in the chat. And Katie, let's jump into Q&A. If you want to share your screen again to show our headshots. And I can just say our first question here that's popping up. What does support look like from Gillette's top leadership, and how were they convinced to be so supportive? Someone said they're assuming that they must be really supportive with all the amazing things that you've accomplished.
Yeah. You know, I think it comes from, you know, our passion for the industry. I think that's one of the biggest selling points to the ownership group here is, you know, why we're going about this. We're a 22-year-old facility, and they're constantly looking for ways to innovate and make it better. And a lot comes from their paper business. They're one of the biggest importers of recycled goods from around the world, and we take those recycled goods, cardboard, and create new container board with it. So they understand the circularity of the business. And I think they just appreciate what we do. And I'll give you a perfect example. Last week, the owners meetings were going on. We just received LEED gold certification. I sent a note to the owners, and within 5 minutes, I got a response from Robert Kraft. So they recognize the importance of what we're doing here. And we always make a really good business case for everything that we do. We show them the value of it, whether it's bringing good media attention to the organization, reducing cost, and ultimately just, you know, benefiting the environment here. So that's kind of how we get them to buy into everything that we do here.
That's awesome. I think we constantly talk about that, and it showed up at our summit a lot. Like, how do you get buy-in, and how does that really affect the initiatives you have? So thank you for being honest and sharing that with us.
Yeah, and I would say the other big piece is don't stop. If you get a no, leverage that no and embrace it and just move forward and just keep the pressure on.
Yeah, that's honestly how the theme of our summit came together this year, of faster, further, together. We can't be as scared of failure. Winning slowly is losing. So just one step at a time. And it's okay to take a few steps forward and also take a few steps backwards at the same time. We're all trying our best and making progress. We have another question asking, how did you decide which certifications to pursue and data tracking platforms to use?
Yeah, you want to jump in on that, Dina?
Sure.
Yeah. Color?
Yeah. So for LEED, definitely for FIFA World Cup 2026, all venues have to be at least LEED silver. But we didn't want to just stop there. We wanted to get to gold, and then we eventually want to get to platinum. So that's why we were pursuing LEED. And then ISO 2012-1 has been a requirement for LEED in the past, is no longer, but it's definitely beneficial to have for FIFA and for, you know, everyday events, for banquet events, and then games, and, you know, more stadium-wide events as well. So we definitely wanted to pursue those. And ARC has been super helpful with LEED, and then we're also planning on signing up for Play to Zero as well. And then Measurable is a great resource to kind of have that live utility data tracking, be able to see everything kind of in real time, and keep track of things through that platform has been helpful.
Yeah, and they're, you know, going back to Measurable, they're really open to adding more capabilities to their program. So we've been helping them out with different ideas on how we want to see things, whether it's, you know, just looking at our straight utility data, and then, you know, we have certain performance factors as it relates to our cogeneration and our fuel cells. So there's certain contractual values that need to be met from an efficiency standpoint. So working with Measurable to try to get that built into the system so we can actively track the overall performance of the system and then hold the vendor accountable if we start to slip.
That's awesome. There's often the answer isn't just one platform to track it, it's multiple. Thank you for sharing. We have a question from Gavin. How has the team been able to utilize their internal initiatives to drive external change from fans?
That's a good question. I think we're just in the infant stages of really getting out and communicating with the fans a little bit more. And, you know, with that said, I think our MLS soccer fans are going to be the go-to to really kickstart, you know, that drive, that education, and that push from the public. Because it's the right, you know, clientele, I think, when you match them against, you know, our football, you know, season ticket holders and things like that. I think there's more opportunity with the Major League Soccer fans because they're younger. They're seeing the effects, they're feeling those effects, and I think we can leverage them to help enhance, you know, everything that we're doing on the property. So probably more to come on that end. But we are, I would say, in the infant stages of really getting the public's arms wrapped around our vision.
Dina, would you like to jump in at all there?
Yeah, I think definitely more to come. I think, you know, talking about the waste audit again, like that was great, like intel into, you know, how we can have improved signage and different projects for the, you know, that we're working on. And then activating at the game on the 27th, I think will be helpful. And then like launching the webpage and more social media posts will be great to kind of get more of the fans involved, and then seeing how we can get more like engagement and education and different projects during games throughout the season. So more to come.
Yeah. And the initiatives like Earth Day and Green Sports Day are really great opportunities to like pilot and try out those fan activations as you continue. So great work and keep on going. We have a question, Katie, from someone in the chat wondering, how can they share Earth Day stories on social media? Are there specific people they can tag or hashtags to use? Are there any recommendations on how best to communicate work through digital platforms, say?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to this page. If you scan this and you go to earthday.org, they have really built out their page in general. There's so much information on here, including hashtags, and there we go. Hashtags and like just so many cool things. So yeah, I'm gonna point you in that direction. You can always tag us. You know, we are very related to Earth Day. We have Green Sports Day, which we like to call Earth Day of the Fall. It's on October 6th. But yeah, that's what you can do.
Thanks, Katie. Yeah, utilizing the Earth Day toolkit's great. You could also tap into that Green Sports Day toolkit we launched last year. It's available on our website on the Green Sports Day tab. Like Earth Day is every day. So you can take these initiatives, take these examples throughout the year. You don't have to only celebrate it on April 22nd. And as always, tag the Green Sports Alliance, send your content to us. We want to reshare it and amplify it. And Katie and I are constantly on social media and doing press searches to make sure that we're staying up to date with everything that's happening in the green sports space in the US, but also globally. I'm going to stop share there. I think we've reached the end of our Q&A. Katie, is there anything else that you'd like to share before we jump off here?
No, just happy Earth Month to everyone, and you can always contact me or Shay, Katie at greensportsalliance.org, Shay at greensportsalliance.org if you need any help with your Earth Day activations. You know, that's what our organization is here for, is to help you guys become more sustainable. So let us know.